X out of Anubis. I don't know if we'll be able to see that today. But also don't forget Ocean's making his mid lane debut. He used to play mid back in the day, not at a professional level, but he said himself, he was like, look, man, you know, it's been years. I don't know how relevant that is. So it's sort of, you know, return to the first time, if that makes any sense. 2 bans already out. No Odin, no Artio.
Swapping things back up, and Met Yankee being back into that hunter role is probably more of a preference in my personal opinion, just because he does seem to be a little bit more adept with those hunter players, or with the hunter gods at least, and very skilled, talented, and all-around standard bans as well coming from these 2 teams.
Terra, the first pick for ALG, and just to continue the conversation, yeah, absolutely, Met Yankee is a better hunter than mid laner. I think everybody understands that. And as you said, it was also just a preference thing. I think he has more fun in that hunter position. And Oceans wanted to basically make sure that Matt was enjoying himself, so moved over to mid. Robin locked in for the Gatekeepers alongside Osiris. So 2 warriors going to be on the right side of the map. Jungle or solo, we'll see later.
2 very heavy pressure warriors at that. Having that route to go with, Robin and Osiris are just going to have so much invade potential. I think that's what ALG is really trying to keep an eye out for. Don't really want to permit their jungle to get invaded. God forbid your jungler loses speed early on.
The Morrigan one more time here for ALG. We'll see if that winds up in the hands of Weekend or the mid laner, because Cyclone Spin can absolutely play Kamazats. So a lot of ambiguity on the side. I always forget it's backwards. A lot of ambiguity on the side of ALG here. Whereas Gatekeepers, they're going to lock in Ganesha. Sun Wukong banned out. Love to see that guy banned out. And Scylla also banned by ALG, keeping Man Ray's God Pool in mind.
Gatekeepers already have their front line intact. They've got the peel possibilities as well because of the Osiris and the Robin. I'm liking their options to eliminate other warriors that they feel could pose a potential problem to their draft so far. And really what I'm also keeping an eye out for is right now ALG has a very solid composition with the Terra, Kamazats, and Morrigan, of course, because you could potentially have 2 bat out of hells, but it's going to be difficult packing enough of a punch into taking down such a frontline heavy team.
Kernanos, a selection for Gatekeepers. This is day to remember, and remember, 2v1 in relegation. Now, it's relegation, much different team compositions, but he played the Kernanos there when we got to see that highlight play, so that's always nice to see. Hoyi and Tyr. I love Tyr. I think he's a high-impact character. We saw a little bit of him yesterday.
Haven't seen a whole lot of him lately, though, other than what we did see yesterday. He's been a god that not many solo laners or even junglers have wanted to experiment with too much, just because they feel as though he doesn't provide as much of a presence as the other solo laners can right now. But all things considered, I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this selection.
Yeah, it's sort of like extended presence versus high impact. And when you ask me about Cyclone Spin, he absolutely is high impact guy. He doesn't. So when you look at the Kukullans and you look at the other warriors that come out there, I mean, they're gonna battle in zone and just sort of do the thing for as long as it takes, right? Cyclone Spin on this tier is gonna look to shove somebody's face into a wall and let everybody kill them, and hopefully they're dead by then. That's the idea behind this. So high pressure versus high impact, 2 very different thought processes. Neil Ma doing what Jeff Hindley did in game number 1 of our last set, likely going to look to back up some of the minions, although this time in the mid lane.
It appears as though Nilma is deciding to start in the middle lane as opposed to the dual lane with his hunter, and this could be due to the fact that Gatekeepers have that early pressure, so Allegiance are trying to prevent Weekend from losing his farm on the right-hand side.
Soul trying to compensate for the fact that the minions are pushed up by going all the way to the tower line, looking to clear with the help of Pain Devion. And Cyclone Spin by himself over there in the solo lane. Well, Grave will help out Mando Warrior. SPL Gatekeeper is a team that comes out of the relegation squad or relegation scene. Again, Pain Devion has been known to sort of lead these teams of lesser-known players to victory. Man Ray stepping in as Moswall has taken over MLC spot over in Noble. But other than that, the other 3 players.
And the other 3 players are still performing fairly well. It does seem as though Weekend and Oceans, the start ended up panning out pretty well for them, considering that they've managed to acquire their own speed buff. Yep. That's the most important part, and still have enough of clear in the mid lane wave to go bat to bat, and it seems as though Weekend really wants these back harpies from Gatekeepers.
This is a pretty intensive invade here. And then just touching on the gatekeepers, if you're unfamiliar, Manda Warrior, he's gonna play your standard meta stuff. He's gonna be a role player, nice one out there. It's really a lot of eyes on Data, Remember, and Pain. I think this dual lane is perhaps the stronger part of this squad.
And already taking a huge chunk of health out of Man Ray. Weakened with the burst potentials, and Pain Deviant just really trying to do everything he can to assist his mid laner with that clear. Ganesh has a lot of clear early on as well, so I like that he opted to start in the mid lane to help out the Soul, recognizing that Neilma had initially ventured that way.
Right, and so just making sure to keep the balance of the map relatively similar so nobody gets too much crazy fun.
Met Yankee, however, finding a little bit more experience as far as the waves are concerned. That could partially be due to the fact that he was left alone for a little bit since his support opted to rotate. And this isn't something that seems too out of the ordinary. Cyclone just getting pressured out. That's what Osiris does best.
You know, interesting, you notice that you mentioned that tier, you know, hadn't been as prevalent in the world of the death toll cleavers, I think, right? That was really important for the, you know, the Bellonas, the Osirises, the Arlong Shens, but we seem to have moved past that a little bit. Is that what lets tier kind of show its face again?
Death toll is still pretty rewarding when you have the cleave auto attacks, and of course, because of that, Manda Warrior will have a little bit more pressure potential. It's the team fighting scenario that Cyclone Spin is really keeping an eye out for on ALG, because Tyr can bring a little bit more presence in a team fight if he gets the Blink Fearlesses off, and those can be absolutely devastating for a team to try and deal with on the backside.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was mentioning before, is Manda Warrior is going to be able to zone and sort of deal with players over a long period of time, where Cyclone Spin probably won't be able to zone it effectively for that long, but if he gets one good Fearless, the player's dead. So certainly more in allegiances, specifically Cyclone Spin's, I think, gameplay style. High impact.
I like how Gatekeeper's draft is evenly spread throughout every stage of the game, though. You have the early game presence from the Robin and the Osiris, then you have your mid to late with Man Ray on the Soul and the Kernanos. Weaken and the rest of ALG really helping him secure his own buffs. You could see that Invade wanting to come through from Grave, but when there's 3 members present, don't want to overextend.
Well, Grave going to be collapsed on by 2. Weaken misses the Screech. A couple of basics are good, but it sends Grave over the wall with his ultimate. Not really too big of a deal this early on. Back in the mid lane, we say hello to Oceans, making his mid lane professional debut on the Morrigan. This is I mean, you're starting on very hard difficulty here. Kind of interesting to see Oceans go this route.
This seems more like Oceans' playstyle, though, when you think about it, because Oceans likes those characters that can kind of just reside in the background until you need them to stand out. And that is key to Ocean's past performances on the Hunter role. I think that this could potentially roll into a very strong transitional period for him in mid lane.
Yeah, I'm very interested into what Oceans can do here. Playing middle now. He seems, I don't know, his letting Met Yankee play Hunter is the better idea, I think, period. As long as Oceans doesn't wind up completely failing in the mid lane, I think this is the positive move. And, you know, going along with what you're saying about Oceans, as the Gatekeepers clean up the Oracles, I think it has something to do with also his personality. Your personality comes out of the field, and I think the mid lane allows Oceans to be more Oceans.
Solid.
If that makes any sense.
I could see it making sense, considering that I've gotten a chance to see Ocean outside of the competitive play field.
He's a fun guy. He's a little odd. He's a little odd, but he's a fun guy, and I think he will have a good presence in this mid lane.
I think everybody is, though, to a certain extent off of the internet, but it's all fun and games, I would say, for the most part. And right now, it's the same can be said for both of these teams, kind of just getting a feel for each other. Been a little bit more of a slower paced, and that's partially just due to ALG's smart decision making to start off on their own buffs to prevent those invades from coming through.
I think creative is the word that I was looking for Oceans, and Weaken, creative jungler. I think that those two will synergize relatively strongly with playstyle and god selection. Grave getting stunned out. Weaken goes a little bit too hard. Jumped on, and it's Man Ray putting one on the board for SPL Gatekeepers. Not done just yet. Oceans goes into Kernanos for the dash. And the Aegis is out, the damage out of Man Ray. Smart stuff out of Oceans.
That was basically quick on your feet thinking. That's the only option you're really left with. He could have potentially looked to change into the Robin, but he didn't want to risk having that slow startup on the ultimate to get caught out with.
And with the little bit of opening that Gatekeepers have by taking down the jungler, Gold Fury started, but quickly dropped. Classic Pain call, early objectives.
A rotation by Neilmaw comes in really well for Allegiance, because if he doesn't make his way over, Gatekeepers might actually look to commit there because of the fact they have that Ganesh ultimate available.
Because of that, nice stuff coming out from the rotation, man. Cyclone Spin here, half a level down, has to deal with Mando Warrior, and look at the collapse from the Gatekeepers as well. If they choose to go to the right side, they can handle him, but they see Weaken coming through on the Gargoyle, and they're gonna bounce back again. Weaken off the mark with the Screech. Level 7 compared to Graves level 9 already.
This is kind of just what you expect from early game Robin, though. He has so much damage from his abilities, and speaking of which, Neilmaw looking to maybe get something going with the Terra ultimate being popped. I think he was concerned for his Hunter, Met Yankee, going boxing match with a Data Remember.
Yeah, middle lane.
I gotta do it.
Middle lane, a little bit of damage there. We can take it, but yeah. Data Remember only has 1 M. Keep in mind. Very important stuff. Red Buff Invade coming out from the SPL Gatekeepers. That one's going to go the way of the Gatekeepers. No one's there to really pick it up. But Mando Warrior with the solo kill on the right side of the map, taking down Cyclone Spin early. 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
That one's gotta hurt. Cyclone, definitely not one of those players that likes to fall victim to the solo kills. Almost a beautiful ricochet by Met Yankee. Didn't catch around that edge sharp enough, so he wasn't able to capture the entirety of SPL in that corner. But Weaken by himself, and now he's gone.
1v3, not a smart move. Weaken falls down, unfortunately. 3 kills, and they all belong to the Gatekeepers. You know, and Mando Warrior getting the solo kill on a Cyclone Spin. Sure, it's surprising watching a rookie come in, taking down a veteran, knowing how aggressive Cyclone Spin is. But if you ask players that are familiar with Mando Warrior, including Mando Warrior, he's going to tell you, man, I don't really look for the solo kills. I'm just there to help my team. I'm a real role player. I play the meta stuff. That's what I do. Seeing that come out, Taco, I don't know, man. It's kind of interesting, I'll say that.
If you're picking Osiris, though, you are looking for the solo kill every single time, especially against the tier. He has so much die potential against the tier. I'm a little bit surprised that Cyclone, if anything, wasn't trying to play it more passive, recognizing that fact, but that could also just be due to Cyclone potentially not giving him respect in the solo lane.
Yeah, there's absolutely the idea of the underestimation. I mean, Mando Warrior, this is... Data Remember, Man Ray, even Grave to a certain extent. These are guys that have been in and around the Smite scene for a long time, putting on a show. You're familiar with their names. Mando Warrior, not exactly the Lord of the Challenger Cup like Data Remember is. So, very interesting. Very interesting to see Mando get that sort of start. And Go him.
I don't necessarily fault Weaken for falling at that Oracle area either, because he had his ultimate available, probably wasn't expecting the damage, and now same story can be happening here for Grave as he's looking to aggress. Pain to Beyond, not able to capture anybody with that silence, so they're going to be able to fall back, but this speed buff might not be secured for ALG.
Yeah, SPL Gatekeepers pushing up just in time for the speed buff, but they'll back off and allow Allegiance to sort of take that area. Here comes the ultimate out of Met Yankee as 3 players are caught in the Suns. Cyclone Spin over the top looking for the Fearless. Won't be able to lock him down, but it's Grave that does the damage instead. Neilmaw, the first one to fall. Data Remember all the way out of the dual lane, just like Met Yankee here as well, but it's Oceans taking down the Robin. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Cyclone Spin makes that a 2-for-1 as he puts Data Remember in the ground, and Met Yankee on the chase for Mando, but it looks like Mando's going to escape up north. And that's a 2-4, scratch that, a 1-for-3 as Weaken sniffs out the support player. Grave, Pain, and Data Remember all fall, where it's just Neilmaw that takes a trip.
Just a complete turnaround team fight. Grave went a little bit too deep, locking down that kill onto Neilmaw, and Neil will take that every single time, especially since it means the Portal Demon's following right up next. Beautiful gameplay and beautiful counter engage by ALG.
Gatekeeper still in the lead by about 1,400, but that's how you keep yourself in the game, by making those plays that ALG does.
Neilmaw is just so incredibly persistent.
You know him rather well. What can you tell us about? Because this is also sort of his SPL debut here, but a lot of players know him. Give us a little bit of background on Neil Ma.
He is just an absolutely insane support player when it comes to mechanics, and there's a reason why he's the one who always gets called up upon whenever you're in a pinch and needed a support player to fill in. They're just like, yo, Neil, what are you doing this weekend? It's like, hey, man, yeah, I'll play. He knows every single time, and it was only a matter of time before he got picked up onto an SPL team. Probably one of the best players on ALG, if not the top. I just think that this guy's absolutely insane.
Yeah, Neil Ma, we're talking about Naruma, of course. It's really funny. Neil Ma is his name outside of the game, and players have just colloquially called him Neil Ma forever. Naruma, I don't think I've ever really heard anybody call him Naruma, so I apologize for using the name that you guys might not be as familiar with, but he certainly made a mark on the scene. And you mentioned his mechanics. I as a viewer look directly towards the instincts. When you see Naruma do here, oh, the jump over the top, Mando Warrior, fearless power cleave, and there's the combo, but Mando has his own ultimate as well.
That was the shell. He's not done. He wants this kill. He's ready to get the solo revenge onto Mando, but it could spell the end of him getting a little bit deep into that tower. Knows that he can't dive it any longer. Cyclone's
been definitely a little bit angry. And to wrap up our conversation on ALG's new support here, just a guy with tremendous instincts. He always seems to be in the right spot at the right time, doing the right things, and I think that's why we see him finally here in the Pro League. Allegiance pulling the Gold Fury with Pain to Beyond right around the corner. A little bit scary.
I don't think that ALG really want to commit here. This is more so just what can we get away with? How are they going to respond? They know that this is the newer team coming up and out of relegations from the Challenger circuit, so they might not be as experienced in recognizing when to back off or when to engage.
Nice thing about that is Met Yankee has 70 stacks on the Devo gloves already, so he can tank that pretty much to a net zero gain, right? You can tank the Gold Fury and not lose any HP over time because of that lifesteal. So I think that's why we see Allegiance kind of making that poke. Naruma under the mid tower, just kind of dealing with it while Met Yankee takes Data Remember to the 1v1 house.
And this is just the benefit of having the Huyi versus Kerninos matchup. Huyi gets a little bit more favorable trade-off in the early game, unless you got 4 other members joining him for ALG. Ganeshal coming through, but Met Yankee's just going to jump right out of that one.
Forced into the jump. Loved the pillar block coming out from Pain to Beyond. Used the corner of that ultimate to make sure that he would have to jump over the wall. Met Yankee safe underneath the tower, but it's a Ganesh ultimate for a ultimate out of Terra and Met Yankee. I think it's a win on the Gatekeeper side, and with that window open, no, not going to think about Gold Fury. Instead, just think about putting pressure in the jungle.
Looking to potentially invade this red buff. Gatekeepers have already done it once with looking towards the speed, and that situation did not pan out well for them. On the backside, however, Man Ray just getting completely aggressed on by Weekend, and it's no way that he's going to be locked down just yet. The Shallow coming in clutch to save his life temporarily.
Still many players surrounding him. Weekend with the last hit, assisted by Cyclone Spin and Oceans. Grave gets ricocheted all the way to the fountain. Met Yankee. Fantastic stuff. 1-0-1. Wow.
Terra Walls and Huyi Ricochet.
Yep.
That is just the worst way to get triple bounce on. It feels horrible whenever it happens because you already know that it shouldn't be a thing, but it definitely is.
Oh, that was Met Yankee. Welcome back to the Hunter roll, man. He hits that ricochet and he goes, feels good to be back. That's exactly what he's saying. He hits that ricochet and goes, can't do that on ISIS.
That was also just a great setup by Neil, placing the walls in a way that his Hunter could benefit from it so efficiently.
Yep. And again, that's the combination of the instincts and the mechanics that we're talking about. You know, there it is right there.
He's got the stun to back him up just in case he misses, knowing that the Raven will have at least one way or the other to try and survive. So I like the mentality there from ALG to just shut off all escape routes.
That's going to, again, keep ALG a little bit closer. Still down, but coming back into this one slowly but surely. Less than 1,000 gold now. Cyclone Spin by himself here in the solo lane. And he should be all right. Yeah, no real aggression coming out from the SPL Gatekeepers.
Man Ray did go into the Aegis during that engagement. I am a little bit surprised that ALG didn't want to commit onto the Gold Fury just yet, but this could be the reason why Ocean's taken a lot of poke from the Gatekeepers.
Now, was that just from Pain? Or was that also
I believe that was
Man
from
Ray?
Man Ray.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, Ganesh doesn't hit that hard. Blue team gets control of the speed buff, so that's going to be a good look for Allegiance. We can go over there, picking it up in Pain Devion's face. Cyclone Spin just sort of walking away, so still nice and even here in 16 minutes.
He's just getting beat on by two different warriors.
Yeah.
It's the Ultimate Warrior Showdown, but having that heal on the tier actually came in handy. And I like that thought process behind Pain, stopping the stun right away, but Man Ray already forced him to his Evaporate, and not having that available means that he's going to need to be careful in the mid lane, otherwise ALG are more than likely going to immediately pounce on him, and that's why he just opted to go farm up those back Harpies instead. Yeah,
that's certainly something that ALG are thinking about the entire time. Grave taking care of some vision as well. Matt Yankee finds the mark of the day. Not going to find the dashes. Neil Ma. But that was a cute little play. Finding the double dash because he breaks the other rock. You don't want to see that one.
That's all he wanted was for Met Yankee to force out the dash so they could look for the lockdown. But Pain, there's not much he could really respond with. Met's level 16, Pain Devion is only level 12, Neilma is 11. These supports are really just looking for the setup factors off of their hunters.
He was also standing on the ward, so no real surprise factor. Pain's hiding behind the corner like, haha. And the lead is just looking at him. Yeah, okay, we got you, buddy. Cyclone Spin, losing the trade there to Mando Warrior. But the Oracles do go to the rest of his team, so that's a positive look. Nuruma taking a little bit of poke from Man Ray, but neither team really want to commit hard.
Cyclone and Mando opted for two separate builds, and I'm a little bit surprised actually to see Mando favor the Mystical Mark over the Gladiator Shield, because Osiris is regarded as one of the best characters to build that Gladiators on, and in this circumstance he felt as though he would get more benefit out of the Mystical.
Yeah, I mean, basically what I think it comes down to is the ability to clear the wave, perhaps, because the mystical male is going to help him out as he sort of ticks things down. Cyclone Spin clearing the wave relatively easily with the Fearless Power Cleave combo at this point. Mando Warrior really bringing the business to Cyclone Spin. I like to see the rookie just go head-to-head.
But he's not really getting the favorable trade-off for it. Pushed out to half HP. Now that he's going to try and assist Grave on his speed buff, Cyclone kind of just poking his head over there to see what's going on. But he can recognize that there's no way he's going to get away with that one. Instead, just putting out even more potential onto the Osiris.
Yeah, Fearless combo still not wrecking Mando Warrior. He definitely has a lot of the the mitigation there, so not too big of a deal for Mando Warrior. But the rest of the SPL gatekeepers across the way have certainly been doing their job.
Still no Gold Fury attempt from either side. The only objective that's been secured globally from these teams has been the Portal Demon by ALG. So right now, it's definitely been a more reserved pace for these two squads.
Oh, yeah. Very, very cautious. Cyclone Spin, Mando Warrior very low. Cyclone Spin can kill him if he gets him with the full combo and some basics after the fact. But that's exactly why we saw Mando Warrior play so aggressively. Wanted to see Cyclone Spin push up and then get ganked. Instead, forces the blink out. Now it's Nuruma in trouble, but Grave able to secure the enemy speed buff. Nice play. Invade successful for SPL Gatekeepers.
And now Grave not done quite yet, looking to wrap around that backside since that T1 tower didn't have much health remaining. Man Ray and Pain trying to shut down Neilma, but he's going to be able to dash away, popping that Terra ultimate. But Grave being aggressed onto now by Oceans. No speed buff available, however, for Oceans, so Grave should be just fine.
Met Yankee here as well. Sun's coming down. Grave going to be slow to muting it, however. And Data Remember also going to Aegis it out as well. So 2 relics forced out. You can see that one there. The Shell helping out as far as Grave is concerned, and the Aegis helping out Mr. Data Remember. 5 members of Gatekeepers here looking for the at least positioning around the Gold Fury. They've fooled us a couple of times so far.
Both teams having that corner point warded, but Met Yankee, a little bit of a danger situation. Doesn't want to quite commit despite having Cyclone Spin there. mostly because he was so concerned about Mando Warrior immediately killing him right after.
Yeah, you get 40% HP or so, not ready to hard commit. Oracles go the way of SPL Gatekeepers. They'll have the vision over there on the left side. And now still just looking for a little bit more. Gatekeepers pushing their lead almost up to 2,000 here, Taco.
Matt Yankee didn't want to bat just yet, kind of just hovering around, making sure that Gatekeepers aren't looking for any sort of objective-based fight. If once I get to pick there, I'm almost certain that would have been a Gold Fury. Completely handled. Instead, Gatekeepers rushing down this Portal Demon, and nobody from Allegiance seemed to be aware.
Well, now Weaken's aware. He catches sight of it. Excuse me, in the sky now, looking to take the Portal Demon off. Silence is strong, and that's a nice play. Good recognition of the lack of awareness by the SPL Gatekeepers, claiming the first global objective.
Well, I was actually second time, but it was Gatekeepers trying to defend the Gold Fury now as Allegiance. This Gold Fury still leashed 30%
They stole
HP.
it! Well, they didn't steal it just yet. They took away command of it. But with the sun's coming down, SPL Gatekeepers snatch it anyway. The back and forth does not go in Allegiance's favor. Wonderful stuff out of SPL Gatekeepers. Not content with just the objective, SPLG pushes up forward. And they're going to push ALG out of the jungle. Wonderful steal! Oh my goodness, ALG should have leashed that.
Well, the problem is ALG tried to leash it, but then Gatekeepers immediately picked it back up. Dave was swinging away at that Gold Fury, ensuring that it still stayed low HP. And with the Portal Demon having been available, Gatekeepers immediately rushing down the Fire Giant.
And there it goes!
Nobody knows!
There it goes,
well,
22-58. The Fire Giant roars. And SPL Gatekeepers pick up their third objective in 3 minutes, if that. Nice stuff. Still continuing on. SPL Gatekeepers now with a 3,000 gold lead. Looking to pressure out this right side of the map.
Just amping it up out of nowhere. Gatekeepers, they got away with one, then the next. That little bit of a lull after the Gold Fury was secured. No way in hell they go for the Fire Giant. And there is absolutely no way in hell that these T2 towers remain for much longer.
That is, yeah. Wow. SPL Gatekeepers, welcome. Welcome to the league. This is so much fun to watch. Usually I'm using that phrase kind of sarcastically, like you get beat up and I say, hey, welcome. No, it's SPL Gatekeepers just tearing up Allegiance, who for all, this is a good team. This is a good ALG squad.
I've got to say, Man Ray has stepped it up a lot.
I'll say that as well.
Compared to where I've seen him perform previously, this looks like a completely different player to me.
Yeah, Man Ray, a big deal here. Day to remember, gonna beads out Cyclone Spins, Blink Fearless, and that's that. SPL Gatekeeper's gonna keep pushing up. Man Ray has performed very strongly here. You can see number 3 on his team and player damage number 4 overall. I'm impressed with what we've seen out of Mando Warrior, and I'm always impressed with Pain to Beyond to a certain extent. There's the flip over the top, looking for Day without the beads this time, and on the back end is Weekend all by his lonesome.
Weekend's trying to pick off Man Ray, but unable to do so because he's got the defensive Pain to Beyond following him up. Yankee caught out just a little bit too slow because of that Ganesh ultimate. Weekend gonna forfeit his life trying to protect the rest of his team. Graves gonna find Neil Ma, and now Man Ray cleaning up Oceans.
Grave just going really hard for it. Finds the backflip kick with the kill. Tier 2 tower down, and this is gonna look for a Phoenix here. SPL Gatekeepers, only 7 kills here, but all 7 kills have been paramount to their objective-taking ability.
Cyclone committed into that fight because of a ricochet from Met Yankee that poked out a third of Man Ray's health, believing that they could chase down and take away the Soul's life. Would have been a huge cleanup kill. Instead, the situation is completely turned on. Met Yankee, though, and Cyclone still trying to hold on to hope, unable to do so effectively. Gatekeepers getting away with murder right now. Right
side Phoenix down here, and what was previously a 2,000 gold lead has just rocketed up to 10K. Look at that one, 10,000 gold. Just, ouch. It all happened so fast.
It actually did. That is one of those situations where you just don't see it coming. Hits you like a train.
You know, it's funny because this is, so I mentioned Pain to Beyond has brought multiple units. This is now his 3rd team of lesser known players brought into the Pro League and looking for success. maybe finding it here in the early days of the fall split. But something I want to bring up is Payne is known for his objective calls. His objective calling is what have allowed those teams to be so successful. And I run my talk show every Tuesday, and somebody asked, they said, hey, everybody knows that Payne is going to go for these weird objective calls. They all know it. Is that going to make him less successful because everybody's expecting it? Clearly not.
Because you know to expect it, but you also can't expect it at the same time. And the same could be said for Neilmoss. He's getting absolutely pounded by Mando Warrior, just forcing him out entirely, forcing out the Terra ultimate. T1 doesn't stand a chance against Day and Man Ray.
Everybody knows what you're going to get out of Payne. 4 lesser-known individuals and objective calls. And Payne's still doing it 3 years later. It was Worlds 2 that Enemy made it, right? Worlds 2 that Payne's team made it to finals at Worlds?
Yes.
We're heading into Worlds. He's still doing it. I'm not saying SPL Gatekeepers are going to make it that far. Anything's possible, but things certainly looking very, very positive for this squad here in their first game of the season. And, you know, again, talking about Mando Warrior, he's top of the player damage. Now, sure, he is a solo later, but he's been doing a lot here, and this is even outshining his performance in what we saw in relegation.
It was just so unlucky for Allegiance that Day immediately picked up that Gold Fury, recognizing how low it was. Yeah. That preventative leash was just insane gameplay.
And, you know, whoever made that call, I definitely think it came with a French-Canadian accent. Whoever made that call to just stick on it, just stick on it, just stick on it. I mean, that's a dice roll. Sometimes you got to roll the dice. Gatekeepers push Allegiance off of the Gold Fury. The second one of the contest goes to the Gatekeepers. Fire Giant spawns for the second time, and Mando Warrior walking right towards it.
13K goal difference, 9K experience lead in favor of Gatekeepers. No way anybody can contest this from ALG, and sure enough, that's not what anyone has in mind. Completely free. Gatekeepers looking to probably push out the lanes from the little bit that ALG has shoved up mid and right-hand side. Won't make a difference for too long. They just want this Phoenix, the last Phoenix.
They want the game. Man Ray and Day, to remember, warding out the enemy jungle, making sure there's no surprises. Most notably looking at Oceans, the mid lane assassin, right?
It just, to me, wasn't even a series of mistakes by ALG or anything like that. They had some excellent counter engages. It's just nothing you can do. I think that Portal Demon was just about to run out when they all managed to take it on over to the Fire Giant.
Yeah, it was. You could point to the leashing coming so late from ALG on that original Gold Fury, but that's not the end of the game right there. This has just been spectacular play out of the SPL Gatekeepers, most notably with respect to the objectives. But their gameplay here has also been very, very strong. Data, remember, just taking out Weekend before the fight even begins here, Taco. Niruma pushing up as well, trying to find the spacing, and they're going to force Metnyegi out of the fight nice and early. Cyclone's been doing what he can, but the left side Phoenix likely to fall.
And Day, he just has his mindset entirely on that final objective. Now the rest of Gatekeepers are pouring in along with the fire creeps from the other lanes. Cyclone still managing to hang on to his life, but how much longer can ALG actually hold off this team?
Left side down, mid Phoenix also down. SPL Gatekeepers looking for the third Phoenix as well. Nice silence coming out of Pain to Beyond. The Knock'em is strong as well. Cyclone Spin doing what he can, but it's all a little bit too late. Man Ray, kill number 4, leading his team, and the SPL Gatekeepers tunneling into the throne room. The Titans half, the Titans 25. The Titan is dead, and it's SPL Gatekeepers winning their debut game